recording now. So good afternoon, everybody. So we're going to be doing a workshop today on basically a launch for your business in 2022, right? I'll be looking at the camera and at the people. So if I look distracted, it's because we're doing live and online. And the first thing up to talk about today is mindset. So one of the big things that we find in this business is people being a bit overly excited about the products, and they tend to become aggressive. So you go to people and you try to sell your product, and you think of yourself as a salesperson. So you push your product, you're trying to push your product on them, right? So we're trying to get away from that. And the opposite of that is people trying to be needy, like, please buy this product, would you please check this product out, please do this, please do that. It's like you're begging them to take a look. And at the end of the day, the product and the opportunity that we have, that is the value that we need to believe in ourselves firstly, and that belief needs to come through in our approach when we speak to people, right? So the first thing we're talking about is mindset. And as part of mindset is also to be able to just be really coachable. And what we mean by that is the business can evoke all kinds of emotions, but we need to avoid making emotional decisions, right? And we need to be logical as well. Can I have a seat? Our registration desk lady has now joined us as well. Thank you very much, Elaine. So if we start giving people more than what we need to start giving people more than what they need, right? And they sometimes don't even know what it is they need. So remember, we want to be coachable, but we also, when we're giving, we don't want to give too much. As we say, we don't want to take people's struggles away. So remember to give the rod and not the fish. Before we get started on the rest of it, can you maybe just put in the chat which area in Cape Town you're joining from? I heard we might have somebody from as far as Riversdale, so that will be interesting. And then if we're talking about, I wonder if I've got a whiteboard that I can set up here. Okay, let me use the, no. Let me use the on-screen thing. You guys should be able to see it as well. There we go. So I'm just going to try and draw as thick as possible so it's visible here. Let me use text rather. So if we're talking about building a dream chart, because that's our first session for the day, we're going to split our dream chart into what we call the wheel of life. Now, people that have done any kind of studying have maybe come across this before, but I'm going to simplify the wheel of life into, I'll just change my color here. Hopefully you guys can see that. Make it a bit bigger as well. Can you guys see that online? You guys see it at the back? Cool, awesome. Anybody online, can you guys see that? I just want to make sure the screen share is working fine.
Yes, Russell.
Okay,
Thank you.
Awesome. So it's going to be fun, family, fitness, faith, and finance, right? And the idea behind this, the idea behind the wheel of life is that we are going to look at those parts of our life, or those elements of our life, or areas of our life, and basically score ourselves on a scale of 1 to 10. How well do you think you're doing in that area of your life, right? So we will talk about business under the finance part, of course, but what we're doing with a dream chart is really just looking at getting like an overall sense of your happiness in life. And then we're going to build on that to actually plan for the year, and we'll get quite deep into it. So is everybody here live? Do you guys all have access to the group, or can I send you the link that you'll forward to them, that survey link? Could you maybe just forward that link I sent you? It's the same link. And then I'll just repost it on the group as well. I'm going to post the link on the group. I'd like everybody to, if they are joining on their phone, you should be able to go out of it, but still hear what we're talking about, and just follow what we're saying on this link. So I'm just going to forward it to you guys. Game plan interview is the name of it. Say again. Not on that laptop. Let's see if it's still open here. It should still be open here. I'll send, I think it's the bottom one. I'll send it to you on WhatsApp. I say, Yes, yes. Okay. So we've got people joining online. Just see a girl from Delft. Okay, there we go. Everybody just saying where they're from. Thanks for that. Okay, I'm just letting them log on quickly. So if you're on the group, you should be on the group if you're online. Just check online on the group and on the WhatsApp group that is. And Caleb, I'm gonna send you that link directly. Uh, yes, yes, the game plan interview. Okay, so I'm also gonna just log on into it so I can follow with you guys. I think it's the dongle. Yeah, because we don't know if the other one's gonna work. Just let me know once you guys have just unmute yourself or put it in the chat that you've managed to open the game plan interview. And I'm also going to open it on my phone. In fact, I'll open it on here. Yeah, let me switch to WhatsApp on this PC rather. So I'm going to stop the screen share. We'll come back to that in a second. I just want you guys to follow along with me on the screen. And you can come through. Say. Okay. It's going to be more exciting if we can do it online like this. Oops. Didn't mean to refresh. Okay, can you guys see that on screen at home? Anybody following online? Hey, you can have a seat.
Yes, Russell, thank you.
Awesome, thanks, Christine. So basically what the survey app is going to do, for those who haven't heard of it before, is it is going to collect all the data that you put down and it will send it through, and that will go through to your upline so that they can help you to manage your dreams and your goals. Okay. Right, so if we get started, you can click on start and it will ask you the first question, which is a bit of an icebreaker question. Are you still setting it up? Okay, that's fine. I don't want to go back. I'll just leave it on the screen. Cool. So just to give you guys at home an idea of what's happening on this side. Why is the live event not changing? That's weird. I just want to see what's happening on this other camera. Oh, it's because I'm sharing my screen. There we go. Okay, so we've got a screen set up here. We'll be showing the videos and stuff. And then we've got everybody else on the side, and we'll be doing the Nutrients demonstration on this table over here. So I'll try and capture that for you guys. Maybe we'll have two angles on that you can switch to. Okay, you guys all sorted? Not yet. Can everybody online just confirm that you've opened this on your phone? That is going to be the most important thing. Now, it's pointless if you don't follow the exercise with us. So maybe just let us know in the chat, confirm that you are online, or just unmute
Yes,
yourself.
Russell.
Okay, thanks. We've got Gail. Chantal's got it open. Coulson, are you able to open it? Judy, Natalie. We've got to be more interactive today, guys. It's not a seminar. We need to chat with each other. Hazel, are you there?
Russell, I am
Yeah,
in,
cool.
but sorry, man, I'm on the laptop and the phone. So the sound is on the one and the picture is on the other one. Sorry, but
Okay,
I'm on. I'm
you,
on.
okay, so you've got the game plan interview open, eh?
Yes, I've got it open.
Judy? Judy and David, you guys sorted?
Yes, sir, Russell, thank you.
Okay, and
Yes.
Natalie? Hazel, Michelle, Adams? Can you guys hear me? You're all on mute. I ask you all to unmute at the same time. See how much fun that becomes.
I'm
Okay, I think Michelle said I am on there. I don't know what happened there. Natalie and Hazel, you're the last two. I just want to confirm you've managed to log on. Michelle says opened. Awesome. Guys, it's pointless if you're not following along. So we need to just confirm that you are following along with us. There's 1 or 2 people here that's also still struggling to get on. So I just need to make sure you don't have any issues with it. Hazel, are you on? I think Hazel's taking a call probably. Okay, so we'll get started in a second. Okay, we'll start so long. So for those of you who are on, let's look at the first question. What are you looking for in your perfect downline? I'm actually going to switch my sound to be on speaker so that you guys can participate more actively here. Can I get anybody, maybe Gail as well, just to confirm that you are on and you can hear us and all your sound is working fine?
yes, Russell, I did say it. I'm on.
Okay, thanks. I just needed a sound check, but it's not going through the speaker like I wanted. Okay, that's
Oh,
fine.
okay.
Thanks, Gail. Okay, so what you guys can do then for the first question, what are you looking for in your perfect downline? Just give me in the chat what you are looking for. Just 1 or 2 words or a phrase or something, someone that's committed or whatever. What do you guys think is important? Anyone live can just shout out what you think, Elaine. You always have an opinion. Consistency. Okay, thanks for that. Awesome. So I'm just going to give you guys an example as we get examples. Anybody else, things that you think is important? Yeah, we've got 2 people in the chat, commitment and consistency. So we've got commitment as well. Someone who's driven, like-minded, motivated, integrity. It's a good one. I'm telling you what they're saying on the chat. Okay, they say I mustn't give them any answers here, so I'm not gonna. People don't like to get help. It's taking away some of the answers you already have, so you can think of others. You are the perfect downline. Okay, so that's the second question. I'm gonna stop it there. Are you the perfect downline? The possibilities are yes, no, sometimes, and never. So I'm gonna say for myself sometimes because I feel like nothing is really done perfectly. And we're gonna move on to the concept of dreams. Give people a few more minutes to get their answers in on that one. Just in the chat, the guys that are online, let me know when you're done. Basically with question 1 and 2, are you the perfect downline or what are you looking for in the perfect downline? Those 2 questions. I'm just going to wait for 1 or 2 to be done and then we'll move on to dreams. People are really putting a lot of thought into this. It's good. I think we gave them too much aloe juice this morning. Um, just follow what I'm doing with the question that I'm at, because we're going to speak a bit at each stage. But if you're done with that part, you can just wait at the next question. Are you the perfect downline? Yes, you can answer that one. You can just wait up after that. Yeah. Because we want it to be a bit interactive, and any value you can add, if you got any ideas along the way, then feel free to share as well. The guys online, many of you have answered these questions before, so you should be done with it by now. Just let me know in the chat and confirm you're still following. Cool. See, I'll give you guys another 30 seconds. And then we get started on the next one. It's meant to be the icebreaker question, but it seems to be provoking more thought than I thought it would. Okay, Chantal's done on that side. Coulsom's done. Well done, you two. I'm assuming Kenzo, Paisley, and Willow are also done already. Let's see if there's a reason why pastors stand like this at the podium. Their legs start getting tired. I figured it out. Okay, so we're gonna move on to dreams then, right? And this part is the crucial one. We're not just speaking in some sort of weird thought-provoking way. We actually want to put our dreams on paper today, and we want to then develop that that concept and move it from dreams to actually make it a goal, which means we're going to have a date set to what we want to, when we want to achieve that dream. But also the goal means that it's an actual action that you need to or a benchmark that you need to reach, right? So if we look at a dream and you say, right, I want to have 20,000 rand saved by the end of the year through my near life businesses, profits and incentives, then that's a realistic, it's a measurable goal, right? You're very accurate with the amount that you're looking at, and you are basically you've got it's very specific as well, right? So if you had, let's say, 20,000 by the end of the year, how would you break that up into goals or benchmarks that you'd achieve throughout the year, right? So this is just an example of a dream that you might have. So if I had 20,000 across the year, I might say, okay, in the last, every quarter, I'd want to make 5,000, right? Or well, yeah, so that would make up your 20,000. And that's a very doable goal. I mean, through the near life profits and bonuses, you can make half of that. And the Eagle team incentives, you can top up on the rest of it. Because we've basically made that much without that much effort in December. So let's just say it was 20,000, that's your dream. 5,000 a quarter might be your goal. And then you'll break it down into monthly. So you might say, okay, maybe 2,000 a month is my target, just so that you overshoot rather than go, beneath your target. And even if you don't get to the full 6,000, you might still hit 5,000, so you're still good. So that's an example of how you'd break it down into a monthly thing. So you'll go 12 months down to a quarter, down to once a month. And then if you're going to be making 2,000 a month, you might break it up then into weekly goals where you'll say, okay, I want to make 500 rand a month. Right, so you'll aim for that 500 rand, sorry, a week. So you'll aim for the 500 rand a week. And even if you get below that, you'll still get your incentives and things as well. It seems like the kids at home are also doing this. That's awesome. So some questions to help you to answer this question. Why are you on this earth, right? What is it that you really want to do with your life? And then we're going to ask you to write out the dreams list in that field. So you can do all of that on your phone. If you want to scribble on a piece of paper, if you need some paper for the guys that are here live, we do have paper for you as well. And some other questions to help you to answer this is, what is your why? In terms of the business, why did you join Neolife? Why are you doing the business? What do you want to get out of it? What is it you really want out of life? And then this is a good one to ask people when you do your one-on-one with them. If you've maybe signed them up already, and now you sit down with them and you're doing your planning for their business, whenever it is during the year, you must know having that first meeting with them. So if they're struggling to tell you what their dreams are, then you ask them something like this. If I gave you 10 million Rand, what would you spend it on? Don't think about it, just write. I try not to trip the people as they walk past. We don't need that on our live recording. And then, yeah, we're going to expand on this and build your dreams list now. So think of a couple of things. I'm going to use a 20,000 Rand example for the year. I'm going to, oops, yeah, that's right. 20,000 for the year. We've got clipboards going around here. That's awesome. That's going to be 5,000 Rand per quarter. That's going to be, what did we say, 2,000 Rand a month. I know it comes to more than that per quarter, but that's just a way to make sure that you reach your target by shooting over slightly. And that'll then move to, let's say, 500 Rand per week, right? Now, if we break it down further and we said, okay, let's say we wanted to make 100 Rand a day, right? I'm just using very simple amounts here. Then you could see that by the end of this year, 20,000 Rand saved up for your business is actually not that big a goal, right? We're actually shooting very low here, because 100 Rand profit a day, you'll sell 1 or 2 products and make that. 1 or 2 orders, basically. There's a customer that I deliver to in person once every quarter, and that person, I basically get 200-300 Rand profit from that one order. So it's very possible to do that. You just have to grow your customer base. But let's say that was your goal, right? So you've made a dream of saving 20,000. This is a savings kitty that you want to build up for yourself a year. And obviously every year you might increase the amount, but breaking it down to a per day thing, and we'll come back to that in a second with the compensation plan and how to get there. But it breaks down to about 100 Rand a day. That's my example of a dream and breaking it down to goals. So I take it you guys have thought of enough dreams already. Remember, we can't move on until we know everybody's following. So maybe just in the chat for you guys online, let me know that you are following. You guys can just raise your hands if you're here live, if you've done a list of goals, of dreams already. You all good? Someone's still busy. This is meant to be a lot more noisy, guys. I see Hazel's raising a thumb. Just as a cool, some guys online are saving their voice for the rest of the session. Okay, I'm going to move on then. So now that you've got a list of dreams, we're going to move on to the next question. And the next one is, now that you have your list of dreams, you want to basically look at each dream and make sure that it's very specific. So in my case, 20,000 Rand is a very specific amount. I didn't just say I want to have a savings account of money to keep for a rainy day. Measurable, so it's not just about measurable in terms of that final amount, but it's measurable in terms of how much every quarter. You can actually monitor your performance along the way as well. And then it needs to be very accurate. So once again, I think those 3 refer to the exact amount in my case. Is it realistic? I think it is realistic to build on 100 Rand a day, especially because I'm not considering the incentives and bonuses that you get. I'm just talking about profit, right? So I'm working on a profit amount, but even if I hit half of that, and the incentives and bonuses will cover the rest. And then of course there's a timeline. So I've already broken it down to a per day goal. So what are the goals I need to achieve here? In this one example that I'm using, I want to make 100 Rand in profit per day, right? But we're going to do 10 things. I'm going to try and have everybody do about 10 things each. I'm just using the example of building up the savings account. as my dream, and then the goal is to get 20,000 and breaking it down to 100 Rand in profit a day. So if I look at it, let's say we are now at the end of, let's just say we were at the 1st of January, just for the example's sake. So by 31st of December 2022, I want to have 20,000 Rand. And then breaking that down to, let's go halfway through. So February, March, April, May, June, end of June. June's got 30 days, I think. I should be at, oh, that's only 2,000, 20,000. I should be halfway there in June. And then, okay, let me just leave it at the end goal for this exercise. So you guys should be taking a little longer than me then to put the date next to each one. But just decide on which part of the year, like you can't put everything on like Christmas Day or end of the year. Like be realistic about when you can achieve it. One exercise that I like to do also when we look at setting goals for a long period of time, let's use an example of studies. People say, oh, I want to study a diploma in IT, for example. And you ask them, okay, how long is that? They say that's the 10-year plan. And you ask them, okay, so how long does it take to study a diploma in IT? And they'll tell you, well, 2 years. So you say, but then why do you need 10 years to achieve that? Can you do it in 5? And they say, yeah, I can do it in 5, I suppose. And you find what people tend to do is they push their goal so far ahead so that they don't have to worry about it now. It's actually just the excuse to never get started on it. Right. So then I bring it back down from 5 years to 3 years even. So could you not start that within the next 3 years? You know, what are your obstacles in starting that in 3 years? Now maybe need a bursary, or I needed this, or I needed that. So then you start to find a straight line between where they are now and what they want to have. Right. So that's what I want you to do now when you look at your dreams and look at where you are now. What are your obstacles in getting there? Write all of that down next to it if necessary. And then set a realistic date. And when we say it's realistic, don't say 10 years because that gives me plenty of time because you're never going to get started on it. What is the shortest possible date you can achieve this by? I don't really want to move on until I know you guys are sorted with this, especially the ones live. Are you guys still okay, Denise? How far are you now? Do you have your dreams written down or your goals? You're on your number 3, okay. Let me go back to number 3. Denise, I'm going to use you as my guide to where I am now. I don't have to stop everybody. Okay, so while you guys are busy thinking about this and writing things down, I'm going to talk a little bit about action and how what our mindset needs to be when we start to trying to achieve these goals. I'm going to start off with saying that repetition is the mother of all skills. In my primary school, where I grew up, was Strandfontein Primary, and they had a motto or a slogan that said, striving for perfection. And we've often heard the expression, practice makes perfect. Right? But I'm going to change that expression a bit today. And Eric Thomas says, everybody's heard practice makes perfect, perfect, perfect. Everybody's after perfection. But perfection is a myth. We're looking for permanent. Practice makes permanent. Right? We want it to be so ingrained in you that you can share that with other people. You can develop other people. So another thing we often hear in this business, especially with people who are very new in the business or who've maybe been in the business say for 3 to 6 months and they stop coming to training and you ask, why aren't you coming to training? They'll say, but it's always the same. Right? So I'm going to challenge that mindset now. And I'm going to say to you first off that what gets remembered gets repeated. What gets repeated gets remembered. And it's a vicious cycle that goes over and over. So you repeat it and you remember it, you repeat it, you remember it, you remember it, repeat it. You go in a vicious cycle, you do it over and over and over until you mastered it, right? Now people say training is always the same. The first thing I'm going to say to challenge that is, have you ever tried to do your signature 10 times in a row exactly the same? It's impossible. Some of the characters will be a bit wider than others, some of them a bit longer, but you'll never be able to, it won't be a carbon copy of each of everyone. So if one thing that you do very often is signing your signature can't be exactly the same, how can the entire script of a training session be the same? Right? That's some food for thought. And even if training was always exactly the same, are you doing what you've learned in training? Are you doing that perfectly? So if you haven't perfected it, we've spoken about practice makes perfect. Or if you aren't practicing that, if you aren't perfect, which we already said is a myth, then why aren't you going back to get more? Because clearly you don't have enough yet to give, right? And to build on that, are you teaching others what you've learned in training? So in other words, are you doing in training with your team what you've seen in training that your uplines have given you? So you come to training, you see, okay, this is the compensation plan. Can you do the compensation plan on your own? If you end up in a restaurant, you didn't take your Neolife bag with you, you didn't take any of your stuff with you, you're sitting opposite this guy and all you have in your pocket is a pen and you have a serviette on the table. Can you do the compensation plan on the table? Can you share the business with this person? If you haven't, maybe you need to go back to training, right? So training is important. So are you doing training with your team? And this, the big point that I'm trying to make here is duplication, right? So everything that we're doing today, you need to duplicate with your team. So this survey app is something that's free to download. You don't have to make it as complicated as mine. You can have just 5 or 6 questions that are the core questions of this exercise. And everybody that you bring into the business, you'll get them to do the same thing. What are your dreams? How do we turn that into goals? What are your daily tasks from those goals that will help you achieve those goals? And then how do we start to look at how many people do you need to speak to, which is going to be the next point, in order to make that amount of money or in order to make that amount of profit or whatever it is. Another point in, or that speaks against the idea that training is always the same, is that you are not the same. Every time you go to training, you are different. And to give you an idea of that, there's a story about Albert Einstein, where a student of Albert Einstein once said to his professor, these are the same questions you asked on last year's test, right? Nothing has changed. And Einstein answers, true enough, all the questions are the same, but this year the answers are different. So how can we apply this to our business? So let's say the answer to people's health and finance problems, and I'll make this statement now rather, the answer to people's health and finance problems isn't Neolife the company, nor is it the Neolife products, right? Why I say that is because if we look at it, the health and finance question that people have, or the problems that people have, it's the same as last year. The question is the same, right? But the answer is going to be different this year. The answer is going to be you. What I mean by that is you are going to be the one that's going to be sharing that information with you. You are going to be the one that's going to help that person transform their lives. And only you can transform your own life at the end of the day as well. So if we look at it every year, every month, and every week, we need to revisit this plan that we're building today. And it's not just so that we can monitor performance. We need to also adapt to an ever-changing environment. If it isn't lockdown and COVID and the weather that has changed, some people don't come to training because it's cold outside. You see that whenever winter strikes at the training, or we used to see it when we had the in-person training, that people wouldn't come to training and it's raining outside, and it's no coincidence. Right? So if it isn't lockdown or COVID or weather that's changed, then we should have different guests at every event. Right? So every time we have a new event, we should have different guests there, new guests. Right? Shouldn't we always be inviting people? Right? Then how can training always be the same? There's different people there, different input from those people as well. Everybody has different goals. Everybody has a different purpose. And if the purpose of the people at an event is different, then obviously the purpose of the event is different, right? Now, even if the content of the event is identical, the purpose of that event is different. So how can the event be the same? So just in closing on that point, I just want to say, if the data has changed on the training event that you're attending or on the opportunity event, if the data has changed, so should you. So let's go back to how far you guys are with the dream section. Just give me in the chat what number you guys are at. If you are done, you can go ahead as well and do the next one. I'd like everybody at least to be at the point now where they're categorizing each goal in terms of one of the following headings is fun, family, fitness, faith, and finance. That's what I typed up earlier on. That's your question 6. So just write next to it which category that falls under. I'm just going to go and bring up the wheel of life quickly. Oops. Now, online wheel of life 2. Let's hope that one of these things gives me the ability to modify it. That doesn't look like it. Let me just explain what the wheel of life is first then. This is the one I found the other day. No, let me go find it in my WhatsApp. Coulson, how far are you now? Which number? Oh, sorry, not Coulson, Denise. Coulson, you as well while we're at it.
Now I'm on number 5,
5.
Russell.
Okay, awesome. Thank you. 5 as well. Denise? 4. Okay, I'll slow down a little bit. Doesn't help if we're not at the same place, at least, more or less. Should I save this? I think I found what I'm looking for. Hope that's going to be visible on here. Don't think I can zoom much into that. So if we look at what a wheel of life is, you can look at the circle on the screen now and see that we've just basically put all of those categories, the family, fun, fitness, all of that stuff. We've put it into a wheel like this. And we've got from the center point, we've got maybe 10 numbers, which is a scale of 1 to 10. So on a scale of 1 to 10, rate what you feel your life is on that scale for each part of your life. And what you'll basically end up with is a wheel, something like this, where you'll look at the balance of your life and see where your weakest areas are. Go back to the game plan interview. I'm going to leave you guys for 1 second, and you can just catch up to number 6. For the guys that are sitting here live, if you want to get up and get juice or anything to eat, go for it. You're not in a classroom environment where we're going to tell you don't eat at your desk. Sure. Okay. Yeah. No, it doesn't matter. It doesn't have to be 10. No, I mean, if you spent like the whole day focusing on your life like that deeply, then you'd find 10. But Yeah, no, look, I'm trying to teach the principle of the exercise, and you can go home and then extend on it. But before we leave it today, we want to have a dream chart. We want to have a self-talk. We want to have some idea of what the main things that is at the top of your mind, I should say, for the year, what you want to achieve. So don't worry about trying to hit 10. That 1 to 10 was a scale. It wasn't referring to this 1 to 10. I was just also speaking about that, giving myself something to do while people are doing the exercise. Yeah, let me explain the other questions along. So I'll go through it, and wherever you guys are, you can just listen. So you're going to categorize all of your goals that you've come up with, or even started your dreams and categorize it there already in terms of fun, family, fitness, faith, and finance. If you want, you're welcome to come up with your own, or if you're going to Google it, you can look at other wheels of life and use that. You know, this isn't set in stone. The main point of it is that you know what you want for the year, and you have a plan of how you're going to get it. Number 7, as Faiza asked, prioritizing the list. You don't have to have 10 things. It'd be awesome if you knew yourself that well, but most people don't spend that much time doing introspection. So I think 3 things per category. If you could get to that amount, that's a realistic amount for each category for the time that we had so far. For the very least, you should have at least one goal for each of them. And I'm sure most people have more than one goal for their finance as well. Get out of debt, pay off some of my bond, pay off my car, pay off that credit card, cut up my Edgar's card. I've done that before. I had to because I needed jeans. No, honestly, after I cut up that card, I never went back to that store. I never ever bought anything there again. It just shows you the only reason I bought stuff there was because I had that credit. But in any case, nothing against the company or the clothes that they sell. I just don't resonate with the brand at all, or their brands. So now looking at your top 3 after you've now prioritized each list, you'll decide then what are the goals that you need to have. So we're just going sort of over the points again and again until we get to a really a point of clarity in what you need to do. So if you look at each goal or each dream, what are the steps or the benchmarks for the year? Break it down into monthly and weekly goals, which is going to be number 9. So what do you need to achieve every month in order to get to this? And then what do you need to achieve every week to get to that goal? So I'm going to go back up to mine and say, okay, so mine was just a finance one. So I've just used one thing. So it's finance, and it's a savings amount of 20,000 for the year. All from New Life Income. And then prioritize the list. I've only got one, so it's a bad example, but that would be number 1. The goals that I need to achieve, I'd look at quarterly. I think that's what I did up on top. So we can just copy that for now. Obviously, this makes more sense when you actually have a list of goals. So it's 2,000 and a month. Oops. And then daily tasks. So while you guys are busy, I'm going to talk about another concept that I'm still busy developing, and I'm calling this the 5 senses of a dream chart. The first sense that I like to talk about when it comes to your dream chart is just your ability to think. And obviously, when we talk about thinking, we're talking about the dreams list. So that is the list that we're building right now. The second thing we're going to talk about after we get to a point of finality on the list itself and prioritizing and the daily goals and all of that is another sense, which is see. So you need to see your dream chart every day. You need to see it on, let's say, for example, posters wherever you spend the most time. So you might put up a copy of the poster in your kitchen, in your toilet. They say put it in the back of your toilet door, but if your toilet door doesn't face you, then put it on the wall in front of you. In your car, you might put a mini version of it next to your TV. The one guy, Fraser Brooks, actually says to put the poster of your dreams next on the left-hand side of your TV. So when you're sitting down and you're watching a series on Netflix or something, you're about to watch it and your head moves to the left and you realize, you know what, I actually have dreams and goals. I don't have time for this. Let me finish what I need to do for the day first. Then I can sit down and relax and watch a episode of whatever. But if I'm not done yet, then I need to get up and work because the dreams aren't going to come to you. You need to go to it. Well, the Chinese people walk around like that and they see fine. So for those of you that didn't catch that online, Uncle Charles was saying if you're on the toilet, your eyes are quite closed, so you won't be able to see the poster. You might put it in your bedroom as well, in the inside of your cupboard even. Every time you take clothes out of your cupboard, you will be reminded of your dreams. And then as a bonus tip, put it on your cell phone and your PC background on your lock screen. So every time you pick up your cell phone, I don't know how many hundreds of times Americans pick their cell phone up every day. But put it on that lock screen. So every time you unlock your phone, you see a dream or two or your whole dream post or whatever. So get creative with it. So that's the second part of your dream chart. You need to start seeing it everywhere you look. Another sense that I'd like you to think about when you look at your dreams and your goals and your dream chart specifically is feel what's on your dream chart. So if you have a dream of, let me say, for example, on my more longer term dreams list would be a Mustang, right? One of these Mustang GTs. I need to go out and I need to test drive this vehicle so I can feel what it feels like to be, and that's free. People say, I don't have money. That's free to do and test drive this car. Put it on my dreams list and feel what it feels like to be in the car. And don't just go out and test drive any Mustang. Which model? I need to actually go and research which model what are the options? If there's no limit, because there is no limit in life except the limits that we make ourselves. So what is the exact model that I want to have? And then ask the salesperson while you're test driving that car to actually take a photo of you, even a video of you test driving this car. Not just don't just go stand in the parking lot when you see a Mustang and go take a selfie with it. Actually go test drive the thing and have them take a video and a photo of you driving the car. Then you can do the next to it and selfies and all of that. So you can look back at this and remember what it feels like when it's time to sit down and watch Netflix. You see the picture or the video of your vehicle every time you unlock your screen, for example, you'll be reminded, look, I have a goal, it's realistic, I know how to get it. Let me get up and do the work that will get me there. So feel your dream chart as well. The number 4 on the 5 senses of the dream chart is be the change that you want to be. We've all heard that before. But another element to that is people want to have certain things and they think they've got to do certain things, then they'll have it and then they'll become who they need to be. And we're going to change that now to be, do, have. Right? So the world has conditioned us to do certain things before we can have certain things. And then we will become a certain person or a certain idea of who we want to be. But we're going to flip that on the head now. And we're going to say, for example, if you study for a piece of paper, in other words, a certification or a diploma, or whatever, it's just a piece of paper that supposedly says you know how to do these things. I don't know if you guys have ever met someone who's qualified to do something, but they can't do it. So you study for a piece of paper, you use that paper to get the job, and then you use the money from that job to get what you want, right? That's what we've been conditioned to do. And that's how we believe that the world works. So we don't even think of looking at what are our principles and our ethics and our values and how that can act, working on that can actually get us to where we want to be. So we even talk about a job title as a word or a phrase that defines us. But even if you are a doctor or an attorney or the president, does that actually define who you are as a person? Or are we not so much? Are we not so much more than that actually? We've got our superstars arriving as well. Fashionably late. Welcome, welcome. You guys are on camera, by the way. So no point sneaking. They can see you. Michelle and Sammy, welcome. You guys can just whoever's arrived late online as well. You guys can just check in the 20 and 30 group. There's a link there to the exercise we're busy with, and you can try and catch up there. So even if you're a doctor, attorney, or the president, that doesn't define who you are as a person. You're so much more than that, right? So why not focus on who you need to be first? And what are your principles, your ethics, and your values? But more specifically, what are the habits that you need to have in order to become that person? Because it's those daily habits, those daily actions that is going to get you what you want. Daydreaming about what your dreams are is not going to get you there. You need to actually do something about it, right? So just to recap where we are now, for those that have joined, we've asked the question, the icebreaker question, what are you looking for in your perfect downline? I know Michelle and Sammy have heard this list before. Are you the perfect downline? I think for most of us, we can all say sometimes, because nobody's perfect, so there's always room for improvement. And then starting to build a list of your dreams. What do you want out of life? And then breaking it down into actual benchmarks and goals that you can say, okay, every month I need to have achieved this or that. Now, in my example, I've said, okay, one of my dreams is to have a 20,000 Rand savings account by the end of the year, purely out of my near life income, just money that's sitting there that we can use for whatever. And if I break that down into each quarter of the year, that'll be 5,000. If I break it down monthly, it's going to be, I didn't want to calculate 5,000 into 3 months. So I said 2,000 Rand a month. And then 500 Rand a week and 100 Rand a day. So that's how I broke down that dream. So I'd need to make about 100 Rand a day on average to get to about 20,000 Rand. If I fell short of that, I was overestimating. So I'll still get to that dream. So I'm sitting now at a point where I'm saying, okay, I want to achieve 100 Rand a day of profit. You guys will have your own dreams and your own goals and your own daily target. And that's what we want to get you to now. So you've chosen a realistic set of goals. You know how much you need to achieve every day. Now we're going to look at how are you actually going to achieve that. So for the purpose of this exercise now, I'm going to be talking about things that you can achieve through the use with that you'd need money to buy, basically, right? You'd need more money to achieve it. So we'll talk a bit about the compensation plan and how that will get you to your goals. Denise, where are you at now? $13. Okay, awesome. Coulson. Where are you at now, Coulson? Is Coulson still on? I think Coulson's deep in her dreams at the moment. Anybody else want to volunteer their position? There we go.
Really deep in her dreams because she mustn't fool herself this time. Really in my dreams, but we can move on. We can move on because I need to sit with it more. Thank you.
Yeah. Okay, thanks. So one half of the point of today is obviously to understand the process a bit better, but the other half of it is that we do need to walk away here with some form of a dream chart as well. So for those of you that are ahead, you can answer number 13 and 14. Those you should have been faced with those questions before in life. What are your strengths and what are your weaknesses? And then just a note on your strengths and weaknesses is remember that you might be really good at a few things, but the weaknesses that you have could also bring those things down. So there's a real need not only to work on your strengths and make them even and use those strengths to your advantage, but to really work on your weaknesses. Because even if you're really good at one thing, you'll find that you're not as effective as at doing it because of some of the weaknesses that you have. So for example, I'm really good at designing things and coming up with this amazing plan online, and I can give you a to the second schedule with stats on what, I can go really deep into it. But when it comes to the actual activity, my weakness is that I don't always take that action that gets me there. So I know exactly how to get from here to there, but I don't always do it. It's probably something many people don't do.
Russell, can I just add?
Yes,
Because
go for it.
that's exactly me. I have the ability. I love the product. I love the company. I love the business.
Yeah.
And I can talk about it. But when it comes to applying the recruiting side of it, and people just say something a bit negative, then too much of my inner goes numb. And I need to really work on it, because when people hear
Awesome.
me talk, yes.
No, that's awesome. Thanks for that. Charles was just asking, who's this person, this honest person?
I thought you said stop, Kulsum.
No,
You
you
mean
can
stop.
carry on. Sorry if you're still talking. Go on. He was asking who it is.
Yeah, but that is why I know a person needs to work harder on your weaknesses, and that is what I have. That is why I was sitting so long with dreams and things like that, because you can't just be dreaming. You've got to put it in action, and I'm so glad for these questions, because your weaknesses get you to nowhere really. Because everyone that I come across, I mean, people came in, that's why you miss me. I missed you for a few, say 3 minutes, because I got people, I live next to a church. So I have family that come to church, so they pop in here. And I did my bit quickly with them. But you see, because I love it, I'm over excited about it. And that should get me a little bit down, because I need to slowly get them to get the message, because everybody knows already this is Miss New Life. She's gonna bring new life in to the conversation. But my weakness is when it comes, I need to now, because most of them know now who I am. Advertising whole food supplements, but I need to get them to understand that you need something in life, and you can achieve this by. So I need to get to achieve, because at the moment, not rich, but I have enough money to take me from day to day. So I need to find something that I've worked for, that I can show people. Maybe you also want this, but you need to put the right foot forward. You can't sit and wait. So that is why I was dreaming so long, because I want to find that thing that people are going to see. Okay, she worked 43 years. People think if you work 43 years, you have millions in the bank. So everybody keep thinking that Kulsum she's well off, but she's not that well off. But now I want to work towards something where I can say to people, this is not my pension. I've wasted enough of my pension. This is what I've built up through my my business with Neolife, but you can also do it. So I need to give a lot of reflection on my way of doing things.
Yeah. No, that's true. Yes. And like I said, you can't wait. It's like you said, now you can't wait for the dream to happen. You've got to make it happen. You've got to go towards the dream, because it's not going to come to you towards you. Okay, this is a little delayed. I'm actually going to hide from that screen so I can see what I'm doing here. Let's get this out of the way. So we've talked about your strengths and weaknesses as well. You guys are going to have to work on that list as well. What we'll do now is underneath all of those headings. Stop sharing. Oh, it's sharing that. So you guys at home can see the whiteboard, eh? The people here can't, so I'm gonna have to do it on here. Sucks a bit.
Russell, everything's white, so is that? Yes.
There we go.
Oh,
So
yes. Thank you.
maybe I can select these things individually. No. Okay, let's do it separately then. So let's say under fun, we'll have one part of your dream chart. You might want to have a separate A4 sheet for each of your categories. But let's just build a sort of mock dream chart. Now I'm going to ask everybody to just give me an example of each thing. Definitely have a fitness goal I want to reach for the year. Faith and finance. Okay. Now, next to each one, I just want you to draw something or write something underneath it that sort of symbolizes or that reminds you what that goal is or that dream is. So let's say under the finance, I'll say it's 20,000 rand a month. That's for the year. That's my savings kitty that I want to build up. And I can't see past this thing. Just get it out of my way. There we go. Under faith, can't think of anything there. Who's going to give me an example for faith? Hazel, can you give me an example of a good faith goal, please? Just collect Hazel at the dream chart as well. Anybody else? I think Hazel's very deep in her dreams as well. I'm looking for an example. Ah, we've got a pastor there. Why don't I just ask him? A good example of a faith goal for the year. How would you quantify or measure that? What kind of goal would you set for the year?
Russell, sorry, I couldn't. My faith goal will be 2022 will be a Thanksgiving year. So I will thank God, thank people. I will always be on the outlook just to be thankful. Even if I have challenges, I will thank God for it because I know it will take me to a higher place. So 2022 for me this year, my faith goal is to be thankful. So just look for any situation where I can just thank people, thank God, thank the situation that I'm in, even if it's not that I wanted it, but know that it will take me to the next level.
So can I summarize that as just practicing gratitude as often as possible?
Yes.
Okay.
Sorry, man. Yeah.
Okay, sorry, we were getting
Yes.
some free pasta advice here as well. I'll explain if you guys can't hear as well. You were saying so. Okay. So how would you, maybe for everybody that is slightly different as well.
Russell.
Sorry, one second quickly. Online, we're just getting a live one quickly. I'll tell you guys what that is in a second. Go ahead, Caleb. Yeah. Yeah, so you could quantify that as well, and even donating time as well. Okay, so that falls in line with that as well. Yeah. So Charles was okay, go ahead. Okay, that's another example. Yeah. Was it Coulson online that was gonna say something? Coulson, was it you that wanted to add?
Yes.
Okay, go ahead.
Russell, my understanding was that we put that into monetary value, kind of. So I was thinking, I would like to donate to charities, mosques, not less than 5,000 rand.
Mm.
So should I
Yeah.
put that 5,000 rand down, or should
Yes,
I
if
have?
that is what your goal is, that is what you put down under your faith goal, yes. So it's like Caleb also said,
Okay,
donating
thank
to
you.
charities, obviously those that are aligning with your beliefs and goals. So in your case, it's a mosque, or there might be a one in your community that you want to support as well. We can
Yes.
donate money, we can donate time in terms of community service, as it was said as well. And they all fall under the bracket also of living a life that is pleasing to God.
Okay.
So yeah, I think that is a good. I didn't expect the faith goals to be that long. Well done, guys. The next one is fitness. Anybody got fitness goals they want to share? Who said who? Okay, Elaine is first up with fitness goals. 20. Okay, so we've already got a goal and a way to achieve it. Elaine wants to lose 20 kilos for the year. 6 months. So will it be 40 kgs in the year? I'm just because we're working on a year annual plan now, so I'm just 20 kgs. Look, it doesn't have to be a 12-year goal. It can be a shorter one as well. 20 kgs in 6 months. One of the solutions to that was to clean the Kodali's yard. So that's one way you can lose that 20 kgs. So will that be a daily activity or daily activity? Anybody else? Yeah, apparently the dog's involved somehow. We won't say how.
Russell, I want a plan, because I want to at least have an hour of exercise per day, because I don't. I have
Yes,
it. I sit it for half an hour and I'm not achieving it. So I want to go
awesome.
1 hour.
That's excellent. Yes, that's a very good way to quantify it. And then also, if we look at fitness, I think it falls under health. So I know I've done quite a bit of thinking of this for myself as well. And I'd like to look at obviously eating habits. I think that's an obvious one. Eating habits. What your nutrition basically. It will all fall under nutrition. So if I use nutrition as a, let me say better nutrition, and then eating habits. But that's a bit vague because everybody says they want to improve their eating habits. So I wanted to look at also, go ahead.
Russell, I'm taking swimming classes.
Ah, that's a nice one, especially in summer. Oops. Swimming classes. Swimming classes as in they're teaching you how to swim for the whole year, or you just going somewhere to swim?
To swim.
Sorry?
Swim. I can't swim, Russell. So
Okay, so
they
you want to
must
learn
teach
to
me
swim. So
swim.
that is a fitness goal. It's not
Yeah.
an activity to
Me
lose weight.
too,
Okay.
me too, me too.
I know some other people that also need to go for that. As a skill to have, not as a fitness goal. To lose weight. So learn to swim is actually the fitness goal. But it's something that will probably, it's more of a skill, but it's something that will obviously give you that weight loss. Chantal just gave away the the game there. Okay, so those are some of the examples. So you see, we're building kind of a dream chart now with words. What we want to get to is a point, and even if you leave here with something like this for the day, you can then on your own go and find the picture that you can paste over in on your dream chart that will symbolize that a bit better. You know, we don't have to find that right now, but I think if we get something to the something that looks kind of like this before we leave, then we've really achieved something. I was talking about losing better nutrition, your eating habits. I was talking about thinking of using meal preps as a way um, to control what I eat better. Right. Yeah. Mm. Mm. What is natural foods, meat, milk, fruit and veg. You really need to figure out where to get it there. Mm. Mm. Um, organic Nando's, there's one. Yeah. Mm. So look at keto as a way. So maybe keto, painting. And then the main thing that you mentioned there was the planning that needs to be involved, and you need to acknowledge and realize that it may cost more at first to change. I think with a lot of these things, once you start to master it, you also find that you're able to match your current spending as well. Mm. Yes, yes, definitely. And that's something people don't look at because it's all about the quick fix. Yeah, definitely. Thanks for that, Caleb. Another thing is, of course, our near life supplements. So we've had a few of our testers here already. Sorry for those of you that are at home that don't get to taste them. But hopefully you've got some products at home that you can taste and test while we speak about them. Let's move on to family. Anybody with family goals? Spend more time with the kids. Start the family. Take a bit of work. Start the family is a good one.
I need to work on it because I really overdo it with family because I'm the youngest and I
Ooh,
just love
spend
being with
less
my
time with the
siblings.
family. That's an interesting one. So you're
So
saying
I
spend
need
less
to
time with
spend
the
less.
family?
I
Oh,
need to really because they interfere into my
okay.
business and I just ignore
Okay.
business and I just go for family. So I need to have a plan where
Mm,
my family fits in. So I think I need to work on it. I don't exactly know how many hours per
mm.
week, but I need to work on the plan to
Yeah.
spend with my family per month.
So plan my time better so that others don't plan my time for me, as I always says.
Yeah, because they
Awesome.
are planning they are planning for me. Yes.
Yeah, no, it's true, and it's a fact that if we don't plan our lives better, it's like if you look at business culture even. Um, I was actually horrified when I asked the manager one day, what is your plan for monitoring and maintaining a specific culture in this organization? And the manager said to me, you know what, since I started here, I realized there is no culture. There's no business culture. And I was horrified at that answer because that told me that this manager didn't understand what business culture is. Because whether you create it or not, there is a culture. And if you don't control it, then the culture is going to be whatever people make it. You know, you're not managing it at all, basically. So it's the same thing with your plan. If you don't have your plan written down and you aren't doing things according to your plan, like I said, I can create a plan where I have every second accounted for and I have stats and graphs and things for it. But often or most of the time, I'm not actually doing the stuff that I have on my plan. So I spent more time making the plan than actually doing the stuff on the plan. So that is my major weakness again, where I would want to work on. Let's look at fun. Who has something fun to say? Or something to say about fun? Fundamental. What I was hoping something deep would come from that, but it doesn't.
Yes, Russell.
Yes, Hazel?
Fun fun for me. I think I would love to have at least once a quarter with a team, just break away and you are fined if you talk business.
Yeah, Coach Charles says that it would take getting out of your house to achieve that goal.
Yeah, I understand fully.
Elaine, you were going to say something? I was also wondering what. Tuesday at Kirstenbosch. Free for pensioners and pensioners as breakfast at Moyo. Okay, I can drop my mother off there every Tuesday. Otherwise, I'll have to. Mm, mm, mm. Yeah, yeah. Yeah, it's unfortunate. Okay, so that is what we'll end off with today in terms of the dream chart. So I want you to have a list of things, as many as you can think of under each. You don't have to use these headings if you want to put more effort into it and use some things you find online. There's some with like 8 or 10 of them. I just like to have less categories rather than more because I think it simplifies things for me. I can't keep track of a whole lot of different things. So I tend to zone in on 2 or 3 things and try to focus on that. And then one other thing I'll say about this, and you guys can challenge me on this as well if you want, and we can have a discussion about it or debate, is that if you have a really big financial goal, for example, you are going to need to sacrifice in other areas of your life to achieve it. So we're talking about sacrifice in terms of time and sacrifice in terms of money. Caleb, you mentioned like gaming computers and stuff like that. Let's say you're an avid gamer already, like oops, how do I redo? Let's say you already play a lot of games, but you say, okay, you want to get 20,000 Rand for the year as your savings. You're going to need to sacrifice on some of that gaming time. One awesome example of that I have personal experience with is I used to play soccer, like amateur soccer at Durbanville for many years. And then I sat down one day and I did one of these analysis things where I planned, okay, or I said to myself, how much time do I spend doing each thing every day? I looked at how every second of every day, what am I doing? And what I actually found was that I had something like 60 to 90 hours every month that I was either preparing for or being at or recovering from playing soccer. And when I say recovering from, after training, because it was an amateur team, there was also beers and there was fun and there was partying. So it wasn't just the soccer also. So there's a lot of time I was spending doing this stuff. And it was about probably a year or so after I looked at this plan and I was actually shocked with the amount of time because I was struggling to build a business part-time, that I said to myself, there's no way I can justify spending that much time doing something that's making me less healthy. It's making me more poor, all of these things when I have a business that I'm trying to run. So I had to, then I actually just quit the following year. Like that was my last year that I played. And I haven't played again since because I haven't yet achieved the financial goal of having basic financial freedom, of having an asset paying off my living expenses. So that's an example of, and why I say that if you have a really big goal under one of these areas and you really want to focus on that goal, you're going to have to sacrifice in other areas of your life. No, I still need to do exercise. I should have walked here. I should have walked all the way. I shouldn't have used the vehicle. Yeah, I think the balance that you're looking for is not necessarily to have them all at the 10, but you just need to be at a place where you are happy with how much you're getting out of each area. You know, yeah. Yes, yes. At the end of the day, you're looking at what you're doing on a daily basis. That's what it comes down to. What are you doing? And like you said, is it aligning with your plan? Is it aligning with your goals? So do your habits align with your dreams, basically? Mm. Yes, yes. Mm. Yeah, definitely. Definitely. Um, how do I save the screen? Yeah, yeah. Thank you. Cheers. Mm. Yeah, yeah. Mm. Yeah, you need to be well aware also, like you're saying, of what is the impact on the others. So, like you're saying, if you're going to sacrifice time with the family, what is the impact of your family life? Is that going to degrade it very quickly from even a 3 to a 1 in that year? Is it worth that much sacrifice? Do you want to really move your family life to a 1 out of 10 just to get from finance to a 3, from a 3 to a 4 kind of thing? Is it really worth that kind of imbalance? That's a good point as well, yes. I'm just trying to figure out how to save. Oh, there it just says save over there. So save this PDF. Awesome. Whiteboard, WhatsApp. So I can stop sharing now. Yeah, just remember to submit, guys. I'm just pasting that in the group as well. We'll forward it to everybody that's here. If you haven't gotten it yet, if you're not in the group or whatever, just ask for your upline to send it to you. They should be in the group. And then what I was saying now is related to the wheel of life as we mentioned it now. Let's just say you've got those 6 things in a circle like this, and you start to mark off 1 out of 10, 1 out of 10, 2 out of 10, 5 out of 10, whatever. And you shade that thing, you'll start to see exactly which area of your life is a strength and which area of your life is a weakness, and where there's room for improvement. And then, like you've said as well, you need to then consciously decide if you are going to sacrifice on something. You need to protect against sacrificing on the wrong things, on things that that actually mean more to you, but you don't realize in the long term the impact of that sacrifice. So that's a good point as well. Yeah. So I think we're going to move back onto our game plan interview now. So if you guys have got your dream chart, something similar to what I've posted in the group now. Is that so something like this? I'll just share it on the screen for you guys to see what you need to be, where you need to be at this point. All right, so let's call it a dreams list. We're not quite at the dream chart yet, because we think of a chart, you think of more pictures and things like that. But just have your prioritized lists under each area. If you, like I said, if you don't want to use these 6 areas, you feel free to. And if you've already got a dream chart or a wheel of life, then use your one. But just have it prioritized if you don't already have your dream chart done, and then go out and look for pictures that symbolize those things. For those things that you want to have that's tangible, go out and experience it. If it's just a new toilet pot, you want to have a golden toilet pot with a wooden lid, go out and go and sit on it in the shop and feel how it feels. The toilet's a bad example of that, though. They might have a, like they've got these, what do they call it when you go, a fitting room in the shop? They might have a sitting room in those shops, so you can feel get that full experience. So, like I said, with your 5 senses of your dream chart, go out and feel the thing. Go out and test drive the cars. Go and feel what it feels like to have those things. And then the last thing on the 5 senses of a dream chart that I didn't mention yet is to say and hear. So the first note about that, here's another idea for you. a lot of the people in our team have done dream charts before, but I don't think that you may have come across this unless you follow Fraser Brooks, which I know Michelle does. Is do a voice note of your vision board or of your dream chart. So send a voice note to someone that you know, or just record a do a audio recording on your phone. Most phones now have that facility or feature, and just talk through your dream chart. Talk through it as if you already have it, though. Right? So you'll start to speak about those things that you want, but you'll say it in a way that means you already have it. This is how I feel when speak about how you feel about having it and that sort of thing. I don't know if any of you guys have any comments or ideas of how you can improve that idea as well. When you talk about doing a voice note of your dream chart. So in other words, if you don't only need to go around and see your dream chart everywhere, your vision board everywhere, you also need to hear it. And if you aren't saying it yourself, then there's another way of looking at it. You can just play a voice note in the mornings if you don't feel like talking to yourself yet. If you're not a morning person. Yes, yes. Mm, mm, mm. Okay, that's a cool one. Yes, I'll add that to our self-talk thing in the next session because mm, mm, that's very relevant to our next session as well. Yeah. How are the guys online doing? I can't see what you guys are doing. Are you still awake? Are you still fine? A thumbs up, something in the chat, anything to tell us that you're still alive, or I'll need to let my colleagues in emergency services send the police around to check on you.
We still alive, Russell. Just remember, whatever they tell you, you need to tell us too, because we can't hear them.
Okay, sorry about that. So what Caleb was saying now is from this video that you watched in terms of doing this voice note on your dream chart. And we're going to talk about self-talk next because that's the second part of my point here. But what you were saying ties into the self-talk very well. And it is that in every sentence that you design, just get my face in the picture properly. In every sentence that you design, you'll say something like, I am so happy and grateful that I. So you could maybe say that I have my Mustang GT and I can take my kids to the beach in a Mustang with the top down, or whatever it is. So we'll talk about that in a second now when we move on to self-talk. Is there any other comments on the voice note in your vision board? I think next time around, we definitely need a mic to be floating around. Michelle? Future me, okay. Okay.
Okay, so what I've done is it's a program called Future Me, and so you send an email to yourself, speaking as if you have already achieved it. So it takes you a year from the date that you do it, and then it basically sends you an email back to say, well done, Michelle, for having your Maserati, for getting your house in London, or whatever it is that you've set out to do. And so you're basically in a situation where you can really go and look at the goals that you've set out for yourself and if you achieved it or not, and why maybe you didn't achieve some of those goals, and really sit down and unpack it. But it's an exciting thing to do if you actually write it to yourself, because you're already putting yourself in that frame of mind as if you have achieved it. So it creates a lot of excitement when you sit down and you do your goal chart as well. So that's just a lot of excitement. Yeah.
Awesome. I hope you guys caught that. Awesome. So we're basically speaking about, for some of you might know it as the law of attraction, those guys that are online. I'm just trying to find the self-talk. I want to go straight into that session. I'll just go here. Lovely. Okay, so we're going to move on to a next exercise. Do you guys online know where we are here? Because I think some people may be a bit lost because they're not able to hear off of what we're saying. I just need one person to confirm they are following. Anybody online? You guys still there?
Yes, Russell, we're still here.
You guys
That was
following?
still- Yes, yes.
Okay.
Just couldn't hear what the last speaker was saying.
Okay, so they were,
Um,
yeah, they were talking basically about the law of attraction and speaking about things as if you already have it. So we were just discussing different elements of that. Oh, there's my zoom in. If you guys can see that, we're going to move on to the self-talk now. I think you guys have enough to be able to walk away with a dream chart or a dream list as well, at least. So that you've got a list of things that you want to achieve, but now it's up to you to go and look at magazine clippings or newspaper clippings or actually go and do a digital one, however you're going to do it. And then to start to have almost a audio note that you're going to use that you'll play for yourself. Now, in the absence of a voice note about your vision board, we're going to talk now about self-talk. And we'll start off by listening to something motivational. Right. So, for example, this is how something that I've been struggling with in just repeating the same self-talk over and over. I decided to look at different ways. Caleb's actually helped me with this concept also of just trying to understand the use of using motivational videos to give me a bit of a boost in the morning before doing the self-talk as well. And so that is one of the ideas that I can give you guys for your self-talk. YouTube was full of it. Just type in motivation and anything next to it, and it will give you 20,000 videos of that. So you'll listen to a video. Try not to listen to it for too many hours, or maybe just a 10-minute or 15-minute clip. And then after that, you'll start to use, here's an example system that you could use. So the idea of A to Z self-talk, which is what I'm presenting now, is that you'll go through the letters A to Z. And like Caleb said, one example you can use is, I am so happy and grateful that I have, or that I am. Now, in my example here, the A to Z self-talk works with the words I am. So if we use the word H, for example, I am happy. I have so much to be happy for. I surround myself with happy people. I'm an influence of happiness to those around me, for example. So if you find that you've just been morbid too much this year or last year because of COVID or whatever, you could try and bring some happiness. And or maybe if you get to G, you could speak about gratitude and I am so grateful for, happy and grateful for, or happy and grateful that if you have health goals, I need to be healthy so I can, okay, no, I am healthy and I'm so happy that I am healthy, or I'm so happy that I have lost my 20 kilograms by the end of June, Elaine. Yes, yes, that's very important. Must be specific. So here's an example of how you can create your self-talk. And when I put this into practice, I found there were certain letters where I'd have 2 or 3 things to say, and other letters where I couldn't think of anything to say. When I think of the letter X, for example, all I can think of is X-ray, and I don't have any goals that involve an X-ray, so I usually skip X. But if you speak other languages, where's Ati? Maybe you can help us with a good thing to be grateful for that starts with the X in your language. What does that mean? Yeah, but a word of something that you can be happy to have, or an achievement with the X. Yeah. With the X though. One word that starts with it. You're gonna have to come and give it into the mic. I can't do that. Oh, you're more responsible. That's a good one. But I can't say the word. Can you come and give the guys online that word? Just explain in the mic what it's.
So the word that I'm gonna share now, it exactly means that uxanduva, it means responsible.
That's the X. So now I need to learn to say that so I can say that in the language. I've learned something today. I can use other languages if I can't think of English words. Makes sense. So the task now, and we're gonna break to give you guys some time. You can go and get something to drink or eat while you actually do this exercise. But the task now is to use this technique and write down as many things next to each letter of the alphabet, or starting with each letter of the alphabet, that you are actually happy and grateful for. But this is going to be something that is actually a goal or something on your dreams list, on your dreams chart. So I'm so happy and grateful to be driving my red Mustang GT, or whatever it is. Don't get too rigid with it. Just get creative and have fun with it. You can always look at it afterwards and then improve your wording, your grammar, whatever. But yeah, let's go ahead and do that. You guys online understand what to do? Anybody that has a question? Hazel?
Yes, Russell, I want to add.
Yeah.
Don't forget to also add your business goal.
Yeah. So your business.
for
Yeah. So your
example,
business goals will must not be. I don't know. You guys online can't see my screen, so let me share it again. So your business goal will be, for example, this 20,000 Rand a month was my business goal, was a business goal. But what Hazel is talking about is also looking at your structure of your Neolife business. Am I right, Hazel?
more in what you want to achieve. For example, if part of your goals are that you want to sponsor 3 people every month and have 10 in your group, that it will become part of your self-talk.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah. So what Hazel is saying is that we,
one.
yeah.
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 Also
So
your PV, your everything, as you put it in, you have in your goals, you will now have it in your self-talk, because you don't have it yet. So you are talking as if you have it already.
Yeah. So I'm gonna just go over these questions again in terms of what Hazel is saying now. When you're setting up your goal, what is your target for the year? What level do you want your business to be at? So in other words, let's just say you want to be an Emerald Director by the 31st of December, or yeah, let's use that. It's actually going to be month end, but let's use that as the date. Because you can achieve it before month end, you don't have to wait till month end. And then let's go with Hazel, can you tell us how much PV, how much qualifying PV it is? It's going to be your 4,000 a month, but it's
Yeah.
3 months in a row, no?
4,000, yes. And then that's your start, will be your first month, will be January. You will be a qualified director. Then in Feb and March, you are Emerald. So it's 3 months.
Okay, so I need 4,000 qualifying PV at least from October,
That's right.
because then on the 1st of January, I've hit my, well, the 31st of December, technically I've now achieved my goal, but I'll have that title from the 1st of January, from January month. So in terms of how we're going to do this for the business, for your business, your New Life business, what is your goal in terms of what level you want to be at for the year? And then you're going to work it down. Remember what we did with your other goals? You're going to break it down into quarterly, into monthly, into weekly, and then look at how much PV do you need to generate every day. So we're not looking then at my example where it's money, because that was the simplest example I can give. Now we're looking at what is that money going to be in PV. So say, for example, I would guess that roughly 30 PV would be 100 Rand profit on average. It's a good guess, isn't it? So in my example, I'd want to be doing 30 PV in sales, or even I think in our example, it would be team PV or group PV, 30 PV per day. And then we could then also break that up into who in our team do we think would be able to do a portion of that. So let's say on average we'd want that leg to do 5 PV a day, and so then you've got a way to measure your performance for the year and on a daily basis as well. So if we're going to use Emerald Director by at 4,000 qualifying PV by the end of October, that is our dream. The goals that I'd need to do to achieve that, I think, if I divide, oops, not in dollars yet, 4,000 over the quarter, so it's going to be 1,000 PV per quarter. Right, that I'd need to improve, not that I'd need to get. So in other words, it's probably going to be about 1.5 actually. Let me use 1.5 as the actual target, and then even if we don't hit that target, we still hit the goal, which means that end of January we'd have 1,500 PV. Let's just do a end of March is going to be 1,000, so 500 PV. Sorry. April, May, June is going to be 3,000 qualifying. And then of course, July, August, September. Going to be way over that already in any case. But let's just say then the next one is October at 4,000. If we use an example like that, Hazel, would you say that is a realistic progression to reach that 4,000 by October? Can you guys see on the screen? Well, would you say it's realistic if you look at, oh, did I stop sharing now? If I look at getting to 4,000 qualifying PV for my team now by end of October, I broke it down then to 1.5 per quarter, and then I used that as a yardstick for, okay, by March I'd need at least 1,500 qualifying PV. Going into June, which is the next quarter, then doubling that. and then I'll have 4 months from then to get to 4,000 PV. It sounds actually a little. It actually sounds easy if you break it down like that. Yeah. Yeah. Hazel, do you have anything to add to that, to this example? Essentially, we're saying director by October, but it will then, through consistency, be emerald by the end of December. Hazel, you muted. And it's Sun City by the following March. Yeah.
Sorry for that. Yeah, no, that's super awesome. Thank you, Russell.
Okay. Okay, so that you're saying that's realistic, Hazel. I'm not sure, but I was hoping this it would go through the speaker so everyone can hear. It's not quite working for me. Okay, in any case, so what we're going to do now is break down that example into weekly goals. But before I do that, let's break it into the rest of the months of the year as well. So we looked at quarterly. Let's just say you were starting off. So you'd say, okay, January, you're going to go for 500 QPV. That is going to make you what, senior? No, you're not senior manager there yet, you're manager. That is quite a senior manager here. We'll go with QSM and QM. We'll still QSM at that level, QSM, so it's qualified senior manager for those that don't know. By the time you get to June, you're already a qualified executive manager. And then of course, you're looking at director by October. So then we look at the months in between, March, April, 2000 QPV, you are now qualified executive manager. May 25, you still QEM. July. Let's look at August. I'm going to keep on building. It's directed by August actually. September. 500 QPV director. And I'm actually going to move this to 5,000. And then we'll carry on going to November and December. Can anybody give me an example or an idea of why I've decided to overestimate this? So I've said I want to be an emerald director by the end of December, but already by August I'm hitting director level qualifying PV. So why would I go over by that much? What do you guys think?
Russell,
Yes, Kyle.
Russell, it also all depends your goals that you have set for yourself. So if you have set a goal for be like debt free by December and you've got a certain amount, you need to do your goals according to what you set out to be, because remember you're putting a date next to it. Say for instance, I need 100,000 by December. I'm just making an example to be debt free. So I put the date December, but I need to work out my goals according to monthly goals, which I would achieve. So if I want to achieve that, I need to be a director as soon as possible.
Yeah.
So I will set my goals. Is like a long term for you to do that. But if I want to achieve that goal, I need to be a director. So I will get my say January 2000, February 2000, or 3000, which will give me 5,000. I already got 1,000 from December. So it gives me at the end of February 6,000.
Mm.
So at the end of March, I'll do my 4,000.
Yeah.
So to achieve that amount till December, then I will be able to re-go. So you must realistically according to how you're going how to become director. Because remember, if you become director, you're going to earn the amount that you need to for your goal to set your goal. So
Yeah.
that is also you must look at it.
Yeah. Hazel, do you have anything to add on that? Okay. Mhm. Hazel, you're muted.
Sorry for that. Yeah, the big thing is, guys, when you plan and you have your personal goals, the big thing is when you want to achieve whatever you set out for you to achieve, you need to remember that the business is all about caring about other people. So the more people you help, the quicker you will achieve whatever you have for 2022 for yourself. Okay, so the big thing is to get as many people in, but make sure that you help them to achieve their dreams first, and yours will automatically come. That's the business. Thank you.
Yeah, we talk about startups and not signups. So when we say signups, we're talking about the physical act of signing somebody up. But as Hazel said, now the purpose of signing people up is to actually help them to achieve their goals. So we don't sign them up and leave them. We talk about startups. So we actually sign people up, but we launch their business, we start them up. We don't just sign them up. Does anybody else have anything to add on this, or are you guys good with knowing what to do? I think the one other thing Hazel said as well is, if we're looking at now, that is just PV in terms of maybe personal versus qualifying. So I might say, okay, for someone starting in January, I might want to do have them do 100 personal versus 500 qualifying or group PV, and then continue that maybe just build on that as well. Mhm. Which one? Yeah. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Mm. Yeah, yeah, definitely. Yeah, yeah, definitely. So let
So you're looking at where you are, your current performance, your projection for when you want to achieve directorship or whatever. So from here, if I continue to do what I'm doing, by August, I will be a director. But I'm going to set my goal for directorship to December, because anything can happen, that I have no control over, that can impact on my set out performance or goal or whatever. So I'm still going to achieve it. I will push for August, the way I'm working now, but just to give myself, what we talk about in business, especially in the kind of business that I'm in, is, you over promise, or you under promise and you overachieve.
over deliver, yeah, under promise and over deliver. Okay, so I've just adjusted my numbers because I was just looking at the 3-month period. I think this is qualified director here, and this is emerald here. If I've got have I got my facts straight there as well? If you can see my screen, yeah, I'm sharing. Hazel, you need to unmute. Oh, you
I
are
can't see.
Can you not see my
It's
screen?
not, no, no, it's the lenses there. What?
Can't see Russell.
Can't see.
Let me share it again. Maybe.
It was still the old one, the first
Oh,
one that you were sharing.
I'm busy sharing number 4 now, where I've got the year planned out. And I'm saying that if at August already I'm at 4,000 qualifying PV, I will be a qualified director because of June and July and August adding to 10,000. Am I right so far?
Yep,
And I'll only be emerald by the 3rd month that I'm a qualified director.
that's right.
Okay.
Yes. Just to add to what Charles was saying, just remember, you never change your dreams, your goals. You can change the date if you don't make it.
Yeah.
Right. But you keep your goal will stay the same. Just change the date if life happens, because nobody knows.
Yeah.
We're planning, but that is not in our control many a times, like you said. No. Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah. Okay, awesome. Okay, thanks for that, Kusum, in the chat as well. Just confirming you guys can see it now. So I'm going to leave that like that for now. What you'll also do in your plan when you're planning your business is you'll start to look at how many legs your business will actually have. So if you're a senior manager, then you might say, okay, I want to have at least 3 managers in my team. Okay, maybe 3 is a bit much to achieve that. Let's just say 2 managers with a senior manager. Because even that isn't a lot. I can even achieve that with 1 manager, really. So if I just double that every month, let's use QM as a, you say with 2 qualified or 1 qualified manager. You guys understand what I'm saying here, especially the ones here live. Faiza, are you following what we're doing with the planning?
Can you explain what a qualifying manager is? I'm long in it and I hear it every time, but I keep forgetting.
Okay. So if we look at the 2 different ways to make manager, it's going to be 250 qualifying PV or 5 and no, I'm wrong. It's qualify, yeah, 250 qualifying PV, is all. You don't have to have personal, that much personal. So it's 100 personal over 250.
No, it's 100 over 500 if you qualified manager.
1 over
And then
500.
it's one, and then it's the
I
quickest
confused
way
myself.
is, yeah. So it's 1 over 500 for a manager, and the quick way is 250 personal.
Or 250. What is it
Personal.
sound?
And then senior manager is 100 over 1,000
Yeah.
or 500 personal PV. That means on your own. You without any
Managers.
downlines.
Just gonna copy
That's
that
the quick
there.
way.
Over 1,000 or 500.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm just
And
doing
then,
it. Yeah.
And then of course your director is 1 over 4,000. And remember, we're all running now for directors. You have to keep on building, because as soon as you develop a qualified director, you need to qualify on your own with the rest. So I can't qualify with the Kadalis. I can't now anymore qualify with Judy's team. They don't come for me to qualify. I need to do it. That's why you always need to bring in new fresh
people.
names.
Yeah. Okay, so
Thank you.
Faiza, what we saying here? Just wait for the wait for the airplane. Can you see the screen though? From you can't see what's on it. Okay. Maybe I'll just maybe sit a bit closer so you can see it. It's fine. Is it? kind of. I know it is a bit out of focus, but it's not perfect. We need to actually use a TV. Okay, so maybe just write it down. So I'll give it to you to write down. So if you're gonna be a qualified manager, there's two ways to get there. The first way is to do your obviously your 100 personal PV. So you'll write 100 PPV. Can I reach my bag from here? I've got a page that explains each step in detail as well, very well. And I think that we'll reshare that with everybody. Here we go. I'm just going to take a photo with it, and then I'll give it to you for Isa to have a look at. Might clarify things for everyone. Yeah, I'm going to send it to the whole group. This is the only copy I have, but you can have a look. And then let me just share it to the group quickly so you guys have it. I think it was shared before, but it is important that we understand the details of it. Let's see if I can actually just open it on here. We could just. You can actually scan it in and send a perfect version of it. So you can see here that there's two paths to manager. For those of you that are online can probably see it better. The path one is 100 personal PV over 500 qualifying PV. Then the path two is 250 personal PV, right? So then it doesn't really matter what your qualifying is until it gets to 500, in which case you'll be a senior manager. Path one for senior then is 100 over 1,000 or 500 personal. So you'll see there you are a senior manager or qualified senior manager if you've done your 1,000 QPV. And then your executive manager, of course, is 100 over 2,000. Either way, basically your personal PV adds to your QPV. Yes. So although we're separating it for the purpose of highlighting that you must do your 100 minimum. So if you are a senior manager that's doing 1,000 QPV, you could do 900 personal and just 100 of your downlines. You're still a senior manager. You don't have to, not for senior manager, no. I think realistically, I think there might be some people that have achieved director just being a salesperson, but realistically for most people, it just makes more sense. Yeah, and we'll speak to that in a bit as well. Michelle, I can feel you have a lot to add to this. I can feel it.
Okay, Russell, you want me to comment in terms of your goals then? Right. I think it's important that we understand that the goals that you're going to set out in order to achieve directorship, that it really gets broken down into weekly, daily and weekly activities. If you don't do that, you're not going to achieve it, because then you're not going to see your growth and you're not going to see if you really align to what you set out to do. And so even if it comes to directorship, you really need to be clear in terms of what it is that you want to achieve and who the people are that's going to be running this whole process with you, and that you have the commitment of everybody on the team so that you don't fall by the wayside. Because remember, together you guys can achieve a lot, but you won't be able to do it on your own. So whatever goals you're going to set out, it must be aligned with that of your team as well. And so together, and I think the planning session is so important. And so yes, we're doing the game plan 22 now as we are sitting here, but this is something that you need to replicate over to your team as well, and that you have the buy-in from everybody so that you know you are going to achieve what you've set out to do. Because if you don't have the buy-in, you're going to be running like crazy, and there's going to be nobody running with you. So just make absolutely certain that you have that in place. Okay. So
It's a monthly, yes. Every month you start at 0. Yeah. Mm, mm. So yeah, I understand the question. So if I look at the website, if you look at your back office, it actually clarifies it a bit there where, sorry, you must still look. But there's actually so much on there that you can learn from, and I mean everything you need is actually on your back office. But if you look on there, it actually differentiates between a title and a status. So for example, you might, like you said, have achieved your title or your status of senior manager, but the following month you don't get that much PV that you're qualified senior manager yet. Your title is still senior manager, but your qualifying status is not. Well, in terms of how much you get paid or your percentage for one, that percentage is a big part of the definition here. Amount for a senior manager. So that's like we're saying now, there's two ways to get it. Your 100 over 1,000, over 1,000, over 1,000, meaning your whole business must have 1,000. So if do you have downlines yet? Okay, so you must have 1,000 then, or just start to get downlines that build that up. But it's all the accumulation of the products PV basically. So all the products that you move in your business. No, the QPV is just a way to explain what you've qualified for. So if we look at the different terms, PV, every product has a PV attached to it, right? No, I know. I'm just building up. I'm building up to that. So every product has a PV for like a different PV. Then if you count your personal PV versus all your downlines PV, yeah, if you count your personal PV plus your downlines PV, that is called group PV. But now let's just say I'm a senior manager, meaning I get 10% of my qualifying PV, right? But I have a manager in the team who's got 3%. I don't earn 10% of their PV. I only earn 7% because they're already taking 3%. So that is where qualifying PV comes in, because they've qualified for their 3%. I only qualify for 7% of theirs. Yeah. Did you guys online get that as well? That makes sense. I sent it in the group, but I'll send a digital copy as well. Okay, thank you. Do you guys get that online? Anybody just confirm that you heard what we said? Let's pick on someone. Judy.
Yes.
I'll beat you to it. Okay, cool. So we've got our dream chart. We've got our self-talk that you guys need to work on now. I'm just going to give it, let's call it until 1 o'clock. We'll have a short break so we can just recoup. And then we'll carry on with a business session after that as well. And I think we'll do nutrients to start off with, so you guys can follow online as well. So I'm going to switch off my mic and my video, and we'll see you guys at 1 p.m.